Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And today we are reacting to 1 Sand versus 20 Frieza supporters. It's a Jubilee parody, and honestly I love these Jubilee videos. I think they're very interesting, so I would love to see it in like the Sand way. Also, I don't know how you can argue Frieza's side, because in my opinion he's just Space Hitler. So it's very interesting to see if I could get persuaded to Frieza's side. Also, if you enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. The original video will be in the description. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it.
The Prince of all Saiyans, and today I'm surrounded by 20 Frieza supporters. My first claim is simple. There's no excuse. Serving Frieza makes you evil automatically.
Facts. I would agree with this so far. Let's see if anyone could persuade me, but it automatically makes you evil? Actually, I don't know though, because that's kind of hard to argue, because a lot of those people are just people that work for, that he enslaved, right?
You say everyone who worked for Frieza is evil, no exception. Doesn't that make you a hypocrite?
I'm speaking from experience.
Facts though! He did work for him, but he was evil, so good point.
I had to learn that lesson the hard way.
Oh, please. No one here benefited more from the Frieza Force than you, Vegeta. You lived off his empire for years. He favored you, treated you like his golden...
Did he, though? I feel like he just kind of kept them in the corner and just gave them orders to keep them occupied, no?
boy, and you use that to boss everyone around, even us. You are as bad as Frieza, maybe even worse. And now...
Disagree.
You come here acting like we are the villains? Vegeta, between all of us here combined, our body count is still probably smaller than yours. We are
Fact check. The soldier is referring here to Vegeta's kill count, body count, not his other kind of body count. However, given Vegeta's royal status and long history of conquests, both interpretations may in fact be correct. Interesting stuff.
Well, Vegeta, the universe is evil. We are just trying to find a place in it.
Keep telling yourself that. But the reality is that you're just cowards, terrified of change. Yes, I had a horrible past, but at least I own up to it. I don't let it define me.
Very fair, because at the end of the day, even if Frieza's making them, is it that they're evil, or they're just listening to him, which inherently makes them evil? You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, if you serve him, then you're kind of evil, even if he's making you, because abandon it. Do whatever you need to do, even if he, like, imprisons you because you don't believe in his stuff.
Move forward and try to be better every day. Instead of using my past as an excuse, use what I'm trying to be now as an example. If you really want a place in this harsh universe, the first thing you should do is stop living like a slave and leave Frieza's empire.
I agree.
Yeah? Just quit the Frieza Force and everything will magically work out. Well, guess what, Vegeta? Not everyone can just leave and go bang a billionaire.
Don't you dare talk about my wife!
Nah, that's true though. Like, he got lucky. Because he didn't have to repent for his sins, he didn't go to prison, he didn't do anything. That is so true. This Frieza Force dude's actually kind of on spot here, dude.
Hang out with gods like you. Gods who, by the way, other reason this universe is rigged against people like us. But sure, Prince Privileged here is gonna lecture us about good and evil.
You can keep throwing your sad little personal attacks at me and blame...
I don't know, it's valid claims, Vegeta, because when you think about it, Vegeta has lived a life of privilege. He got off scot-free. He was even evil for a while, working under the good guys, and nobody batted an eye, just because he was working for the good guys. But not everyone is super powerful. Not everyone has these links. Not everyone has a billionaire wife. Very fair claim.
Everyone but yourselves for the choices you make every day. But it doesn't change the truth. All of you are pathetic cowards. You slaughter innocent people, children, just to impress a tyrant.
I'm not trying
who will
to
throw you
please
away
him.
the
I'm just
second you
trying
mess
to
up.
survive.
You say you're doing it to save yourself. No, you sold your...
I would... Honestly, I'm kind of on the Frieza Force side here. He's kind of persuaded me. And I know I keep pausing it, but I find this very interesting. So, when you think about it, like when you deep it, they are just saving themselves. They don't have the power to leave. They don't have super powerful friends to back them up. So at what point are you just doing your job to survive? And even if you do run off, maybe you're just afraid for your life. Maybe you got a family. I could see it.
The second you decided to be his dog.
So your claim is that you can't be in the Frieza Force without being evil? Then what about me? I'm not a fighter. I'm a doctor. I've never killed anyone. In fact, I've saved lives. Do you still call that evil?
Everyone who knowingly supports Frieza's rule of terror is guilty. Even the guy scrubbing the floors on Frieza's ship.
No, I would disagree with that because they're just slaves, isn't it? Like, they're all just, like, they're made to work for Frieza. However, the doctors, if you are wanting to be a doctor for the Frieza Force and there's no reason, like, you're not enslaved or anything like that, then you're evil. And I'll tell you why. Because you're healing the people that destroy Earths and stuff.
Is choosing to surrender to evil instead of
I'm a doctor.
resisting it.
Saving lives is evil to you?
If the lives you're saving belong to genocidal monsters who will go out tomorrow and burn innocent planet to ash, then yes, that's very evil.
I don't only treat fighters. I treat all kinds of workers, even their families. Sometimes I even save survivors from the planets we raid. I've seen...
Fact check. While Frieza's forces did at times preserve a number of survivors following planetary conquests, this practice was rarely motivated by humanitarian concern. Instead, such individuals were commonly retained for forced labor, scientific experimentation, or resale on the intergalactic market. In effect, survivors were saved only so their suffering could be extended in a more organized and profitable manner. Yes, so I don't agree with this Frieza Force member. Honestly, the first one had some very valid points, and I honestly kind of agree with him. This Frieza Force member, he sounds like it's his choice. He sounds like he just wants to be a doctor on Frieza's ship. He is evil.
Children, refugees, people who wouldn't have made it without me.
Frieza, helping survivors of his own massacres. You expect me to swallow that?
I lived it. Look, I know Frieza isn't perfect, but in this universe, you're either with him or against him. I chose to stand with him while trying to do as little harm as possible, and I even managed to do good.
Pathetic. That mindset. Be a victim or be a servant.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you're just working for him because you're not being made, like, it sounds like this guy. All right, I'm going to go into a little bit of depth here and just assume, fill in the pieces, because I don't know his work. But it sounds like he just jumped on Frieza's ship because he didn't say Frieza's evil, and he said Frieza has his faults. So it sounds like he's been working for Frieza for a while and kind of believes in what Frieza's doing. So inherently, yeah, he's evil. He has no excuse.
Is the lie you've swallowed whole. That's not survival. It's surrender. You could have chosen to fight, chosen to scrape out a life on your own terms. A life outside the Empire may be harsh.
A life outside
but anyone
the
with
Empire.
even a shred of self-worth...
Vegeta, you don't understand how miserable the universe is. I spent 40 years studying medicine, learning the anatomy of hundreds of species just to help people. On my third world planet, I was unemployed, ignored. I traveled across the galaxy for a single opportunity. Nothing.
So this guy just joined Space Hitler just because he couldn't find a job? Yeah, he's evil. Nah, this guy I'm not vibing
The only
with.
place that gave me a chance to follow my passion with the technology I needed was the Frieza Force, and they paid me well. I'm not a slave. I'm thriving.
Then that's even worse, honestly, because, so in all seriousness, if you want to pursue something, start it yourself. Like, do what you need to do it yourself. Because if you just join someone that's doing bad, even if you get to do the work you love, are you truly doing anything better? No, you're just being evil and you just get to enjoy your job. This guy sounds like he just wanted to be a doctor and he was too bad to be it.
You greedy bastards care about is money and comfort.
Not the
you
first
don't
guy.
care whose bones get crushed beneath your paychecks, as long as you're fed.
Vegeta, you can't tell us not to care about money when you've been literally sponsored all your life. You were a prince, then Frieza's prodigy, and now you're the in-law of the richest family on Earth. You're in no position to come down here and tell those of us who are struggling that we shouldn't care
The
about
same tired argument. You're rich.
That is true. However, Vegeta gave up everything to go against Frieza. He had nothing. So, and also, when you think about it, like, was Vegeta really like the prodigal son? It didn't seem like he was treated that way. It seemed like Zarbon and Dodoria, it seemed like Vegeta was just some low-level henchman, or at least not low-level, but high tier, but not like a prodigy, no.
So you don't understand. Pathetic. Money might not have been my problem, but don't you dare tell me I've never suffered. I know what it means to be broken, to be humiliated, to have everything stripped away. And yet, I stood back up. Not because it was easy, not because I had wealth, but because I had pride. You say you heal people? Then heal yourself first. Rip out the cowardice inside you. Every soldier you mend makes Frieza stronger. Every life you save fuels the Empire's slaughter. You're not saving lives. You're trading a few survivors for millions dead.
That Vegeta closed it well. First guy, I feel like, won the debate. So I'm going to rank these. First guy won. He beat Vegeta. He had way more valid points. Vegeta was just kind of in a closet in his area. However, the second guy, he was just some doctor that couldn't make it in the medical field, so he decided to join Space Hitler.
My second claim is that the Frieza Empire is the reason our universe is in such a miserable state.
Hard to believe. You fought gods, demons, creatures that could erase existence itself. And you really saying that Frieza is worse than all of them?
Yes, I am. Those cosmic threats came and went, but none of them chained entire generations in fear the way Frieza did. Frieza wasn't just bad for population.
That is true, but, like, it's not... He's not the whole reason. I feel like he is a big reason, but Cold, Captain Cold, I think his name was. Captain Cold was doing it beforehand. Frieza just kind of inherited it, so would it be more Captain Cold? If you think about it, and also, Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta over Beerus's orders. So, is it really Frieza's fault? Beerus was also a madman back in his day, from what I understand.
On a personal level. He was poison to the universe itself. He is the reason our universe is ranked so low.
If that's true, then how do you explain that our universe was ranking better during Frieza's reign?
That's just a lie.
That's facts. Even your god friend admitted that.
That's also true. I'm gonna say, like, it makes sense because Frieza had some of the best warriors back in the day. He had, like, the ones we knew of course. Like, think about half of the Tournament of Power people. They could have been replaced by the Ginyu squad. Like, any of the Ginyus could have been better than Krillin. Could have been better than, I'm forgetting his name. Tien. Okay, besides that, Krillin and Tien could have been replaced by two of the Ginyus for sure.
The fall of the Frieza Force lowered our universe standing. What matters
Fact check. Kaioshin noted that the fall of the Frieza Empire reduced Universe 7's power level, not its mortal level. Ah. The latter quality of life and development among ordinary beings is what determines a universe for official ranking. Okay, but to argue the fact check, actually, wouldn't the more powerful people bring it up even just a little bit?
that people across the galaxy say their lives was harsher and their Frieza, yes, but at least they were stable. They had
Surveys did
structure
indicate
compared
that
to
some populations felt life under Frieza was better. Closer inspection revealed most respondents defined better as being alive at all.
chaos after his fall. They were better off.
No.
Better off. Better off under a tyrant who committed genocide for amusement. The only ones who miss Frieza are the ones too afraid to imagine freedom. What they really miss is the certainty of their chains.
Vegeta, you might not know this, but the Frieza Force wasn't just a colonial military organization. It was a core part of our universe's ecosystem. Not only...
That does make sense, but, like, when you think about it, like, I know where he's going with this. Frieza's force, of course it did enslave people, it put it under a tyrannical reign and all that jazz. However, it did offer it protection and all sorts. It's kind of like when you're in a bad neighborhood and, like, you know, how you hear about, like, mafias back in the day or gangs, how they'll offer you protection in those sort of areas, but you're only kind of protecting yourself from them, so it's not really good. Okay, yeah, if that makes any sense.
Millions of jobs, but entire businesses were built around it.
It also did
Rules
provide
were made
millions of
based
jobs,
on its
yeah.
existence.
I like that.
Planetary economies depended
What the
on
hell
their
are you
deals
even
with
talking
Frieza.
about? Are you really trying to say that Frieza was a good guy? Even Frieza himself, proud...
Well, also, I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much, but I'm finding this very intriguing. Also, when you think about it, it probably did offer better medicine, better jobs, better buildings. Because when you think about it, kind of like the Viltrumites, they take you over and they force you into labor. They force you into developing technology. That's why they had such better technology. So it would make sense why some people's quality of life went up. But an Empire rule never works. Watch Star Wars.
admits and brags that he is the embodiment of evil. Everything Frieza ever did was only to benefit himself, without caring about who he destroyed.
Yes, of course, Frieza is not a good guy and his actions are purely selfish. But while being selfish, his actions were beneficial for a lot of people, enviably more than they hurt the others. At its peak, the Frieza Force...
Not nowhere near the amount of same, I would say. He would literally enslave people. He would make people just bend to his will just because he wanted to. Like, I'm sure it did help out. I'd say 1 in 5 probably lived better under Frieza.
Made groundbreaking technological advancements,
That's
built
true.
a universal economic system, and got
Also
rid
true.
of all competing warlords. At the very least, they gave the people one clear threat to adapt to, instead of the chaos happening like now.
Frieza didn't crush warlords. He recruited them. They were absorbed into his army and given exactly what they wanted in exchange for their loyalty, at the expense of innocence.
And yet people lived.
He
They
didn't
adapted.
build...
Yeah, well, honestly, that's actually a good point. If you think about, he did get these warlords under his reign, so now they have to listen to him and bend to his will. So wouldn't those warlords stop doing the bad atrocities they were doing? However, their planet's now under the Frieza Force. You know, these Frieza guys are kind of cooking. 2 was off base 100%, but 1 and 3, doing well.
economies. He exploited them. His so-called advancements were stolen from the worlds he conquered.
Frieza's empire did produce legitimate technological advancements, largely through scientists recruited from conquered worlds. However, recruited in this context generally meant work for us or watch your planet explode, which proved to be a surprising effectively hiring system. And that's the whole point of an empire, right? So, like, when you think about it, they're getting the best work, the best technology, the best medicine out there, but you're having to watch everything you say, do what you do. So you're kind of living under a king. Yes, you might live a better life, but you can't, if you step out of line once, literally one person steps out of line, they might destroy your whole planet just because he's mad. You know what I mean?
And only his empire benefited. I was there. I saw planets stripped of every resource until nothing was
Under
left but
Frieza,
corpses
there was at least one
and
threat to
dust.
understand,
Tell
one
me,
tyrant to
what
endure.
kind of
Now, there is nothing but chaos.
Let's be clear. Even Frieza himself would spit on the picture you're painting.
Nothing but chaos is actually kind of a good point, though, because, you know, under Frieza there was more regulation, and now there could be wars, there could be galactic things. But, again, it's an empire rule, and nobody wants that, and it's... Frieza is evil, destroying homes, whatever. I still lean on Vegeta's 100% to where the galaxy's better off without Frieza, but I'm not gonna lie, number 3's cooking.
Bragged about being the embodiment of evil. He never pretended to care about order or prosperity. If he heard you right now trying to make him sound like some galactic savior, he'd laugh in your face. He'd think you were making him look weak, and he doesn't tolerate weakness. Not from enemies, not from his own men. He'd kill you for it without a second thought.
And your whole planet.
My final claim is that me and Kakarot defeating Frieza proves that us, Saiyans, are the strongest warriors in the universe.
Yeah, that's what you care about. Everyone tells you they are struggling, and you only care about who's stronger. We don't care.
Oh yeah, all of you sure seemed to care when you thought your leader Frieza was the strongest.
What are you talking about? I am not even in the Frieza Force. I'm just a civilian, and still, I support Frieza. You know why?
Because you're an idiot.
I don't support Frieza.
Because I think you and your friends are the worst thing that happened to this universe.
I agree. I totally agree. Because they let villains live. They fight. Well, actually, Vegeta's a lot better than Goku. Goku is the worst person alive. He lets villains live. He lets tyrants conquer. He lets all these things happen just because he wants a good scrap.
Destroyed Frieza, left a giant's power vacuum, and left people to struggle in pure chaos. At first, I thought that you were just too dumb to think about that. But now that I'm hearing you talk, you and your friends are just a bunch of egotistical bastards who don't care about anyone
I am
but
a
themselves.
warrior. My job is beating evil, not fixing the universe.
You are not even doing that right. You only cared about what you call evil when it stood in your way. The moment it wasn't hurting you, you didn't care.
That's very fair. If you look at the Z Fighters, they only care about what happens to themselves. So when the Z Fighters fight a threat, it's always happening on Earth. They could care less about what's going on in the universe. The Z Fighters, like if you look at the Pride Troopers from Super, they go around and help people. The Z Fighters don't. They genuinely only care about what's happening with them, unless like a friend brings them into it.
You never bothered to crush the remnants of his army after his death. They were unorganized, causing even more harm than he did. You didn't care about the groups that filled the gap when he left. You didn't care about the planets whose economies collapsed after him. And you call yourselves heroes?
I never called myself a hero.
Well, you're not. And you're not even...
Very fair. Do we look at the Z Fighters as heroes, or are they just people that happen to be strong and fight for Earth? Because they never inherently call themselves heroes, I don't think.
A good guy. You could be helping millions of struggling people, but instead you keep chasing power to feed your own ego. How is that not evil?
I do whatever I want.
That is fair, and I feel like that's very in line with Vegeta's character. So, like, he cared about power at the end, and, like, that's kind of a good point when you think about it. He's not necessarily saying he's good. He's not necessarily saying that the Earth would, places would do better, do worse without him. He's just arguing that Frieza is inherently evil. So I don't support this guy's claim because it kind of is a bit off base.
Don't owe you anything. We can't help
That is true.
everyone.
You literally can. Your wife keeps the strongest wish-granting artifacts in her garage, and she uses them to get woof jobs every year instead of saving millions who are starving. You have the power to build your own empire and use it for good. You are friends with the literal gods of this universe. No one has more power than you to help us, but you don't. That's
Yeah, but again, I feel like Vegeta never claimed that, so
why people
more
like me
I feel
choose
like
to support Frieza.
this last one, person one had very good points. Person 3 had very good points. Person 4 has very good points, but it's negligible because they're not necessary. Vegeta especially. Kakarot maybe, but I mean Goku. But Vegeta just never claimed to be a good guy. Like, he kind of just claims he does his own thing. He wants to get stronger, raise his kids, and just be with a rich lady.
He actually cares about building something. And people all across the universe are waking up. And they'd rather live under a dictator who at least makes a system, even if it benefits him, than trust you and your friends who don't care at all.
That is fair, honestly. Like, very good points. People would probably rather live under Frieza than the Z Fighters, sure. But I feel like, honestly, overall, Vegeta, he won some. I'd say 1 and 3 were the best arguments because they played to Vegeta's scenario very well and what he argued. So overall, that was a very fun video. I really enjoyed that. I love arguing this type of stuff. I love just looking at like fantasy things, kind of like if someone did this with the Viltrumites, I feel like that'd be very cool. So yeah, let me know if you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment to tell me no, like, honestly, more videos like this. That was very fun. I love anime, so yeah. And overall, I hope you guys have a nice one. I'll see ya.